The digital divide, a tale of two empires in the beginning. There was silence. Then came the revolution. Chapter 1, The Garden of Eden. Steve Jobs stood before the world in 2007, holding what looked like a simple black rectangle, but in that moment, he wasn't just presenting a phone, he was offering humanity a new way to exist. The iPhone wasn't born from market research or focus groups. It was born from an obsession with perfection, a belief that technology should be invisible, seamless, beautiful. Today, Apple is going to reinvent the phone, he declared, and the world listened. Within Apple's gleaming towers in Cupertino, every pixel was debated, every curve analyzed. The company didn't just make products, it crafted experiences. The Mac became the artist's tool of choice, the iPod made music portable poetry, and the iPhone made the future feel present. Sarah Chen was one of the first to understand. A graphic designer in San Francisco. She waited in line for 14 hours to hold that first iPhone. When she finally cradled it in her hands, feeling its weight, its warmth, she knew she wasn't just buying a device, she was joining a movement. It just works, she whispered to herself. And those 3 words would become Apple's unofficial motto. Years passed, the iPhone evolved, but its core promise remained: surrender your choices. Trust our vision and we'll give you perfection. The ecosystem grew like a beautiful, carefully tended garden. A message connected hearts across distances. AirDrop made sharing effortless. A cloud kept memory safe. The Apple Watch monitored heartbeats and counted steps for Sarah and millions like her. Apple wasn't just a brand, it was home. Chapter 2, The Uprising. But in the shadows of Silicon Valley, rebellion was brewing. Andy Rubin had a different vision. Where Apple saw control, he saw prison. Where Apple demanded conformity, he championed choice. His creation would be called Android, and it would change everything. We don't want to be the iPhone killer. Rubin told his small team at Google, we want to be everything the iPhone isn't. Android was born open. Not just open source, but open in philosophy. It didn't demand loyalty, it earned it through freedom. Phone manufacturers could take Android and make it their own. Samsung could add their touch. HTC could experiment with design, and newcomers like OnePlus could challenge giants. Marcus Rodriguez, a college student in Austin, was Android's first true believer. While his friends saved for iPhones, Marcus discovered he could get more storage, more customization, more choice for less money. His first Android phone was a Motorola Droid, and he fell in love with its keyboard, its widgets, its ability to become exactly what he needed it to be. Why would I want someone else to choose for me? He asked his iPhone-carrying roommate, this is my phone, it should work the way I think. Android spread like wildfire. Samsung rose to challenge Apple directly with Galaxy phones that were bigger, brighter, and packed with features Apple hadn't even dreamed of. Google pushed the boundaries of what smartphones could do. Smaller companies found their voice, offering flagship experiences at startup prices. The war had begun. Chapter 3, The Battle Lines. By 2012, the battlefields were clearly drawn. In coffee shops across America, you could identify the tribes by their phones. Sarah and her design firm colleagues clustered around MacBooks and iPhones, their world a harmony of silver and white. They shared photos through AirDrop, collaborated on projects that synced seamlessly between devices, and rolled their eyes at friends who didn't get it. It's not about the specs, Sarah would explain to anyone who'd listen. It's about how everything works together. My phone talks to my laptop, which talks to my TV, which talks to my watch. It's like living in the future. Across town, Marcus had built something different. His Android phone had been rooted and customized beyond recognition. His home screen looked like nothing that came out of any factory. Widgets displayed his calendar, weather, and latest emails in a layout that made perfect sense to him and him alone. His phone had a removable battery, expandable storage, and could charge wirelessly years before Apple thought it was ready. Look at this, Marcus would demonstrate, swapping out his phone's back cover to double its storage. Try doing that with your iPhone. The companies fed the rivalry. Apple's advertising was elegant, aspirational. Their commercials showed beautiful people living beautiful lives, enhanced by beautiful technology. The message was clear. This is who you could be. Android's approach was different. Samsung's ads directly mocked Apple, showing iPhone users waiting in lines like sheep while Galaxy users enjoyed features that wouldn't reach iPhones for years. Google emphasized choice, customization, and innovation at speed. Chapter 4, The Innovation Wars. The middle years of the 2010s became an arms race of features and philosophy. Apple moved with the deliberation of a master craftsman. Each new iPhone was an evolution, not a revolution. They perfected Face ID while others fumbled with fingerprints. They introduced AirPods when the world mocked the absence of headphone jacks. Then watched as wireless earbuds became essential. The Apple Watch launched not as the first smartwatch, but as the smartwatch done right. Tim Cook, who had inherited Steve Jobs' vision if not his stage presence, spoke to packed auditoriums. "We don't ship things we're not proud of. We don't chase trends. We set them." But Android was already 3 moves ahead. Samsung introduced phones with screens that curved around their edges, creating displays that seemed to float in space. Foldable phones went from science fiction to Samsung showrooms. Camera systems with 5 lenses captured photos in conditions that would have required professional equipment just years before at Google I/O. Sundar Pichai demonstrated features that felt like magic, phones that could answer calls and make appointments by talking like humans, cameras that could see in the dark, translation that worked in real time through the camera lens. Sarah found herself torn. Her iPhone did everything she needed, but her Android-using friends had phones that seemed to come from a more exciting future. When she finally saw a Samsung Galaxy S20 Ultra capture photos of the moon from her balcony, she felt something she hadn't experienced in years: iPhone envy. Marcus, meanwhile, had become an evangelist. His YouTube channel, Android Unleashed, had grown to hundreds of thousands of subscribers who came to see the latest phones, the newest customizations, and Marcus's passionate arguments for why choice would always beat control. Apple users love to say their phones just work, Marcus said in one of his most popular videos. But what if you want them to work differently? What if their vision of perfect isn't your vision of perfect? Chapter 5. The Ecosystem Wars. By 2018, the battle had evolved beyond phones. Both sides were building worlds. Apple's world was seamless and exclusive. The Apple TV streamed content to devices that talked to Apple Watches, that unlocked MacBooks, that shared files with iPads. It was a closed loop of perfection. But you had to buy a ticket to enter. Sarah's apartment had become an Apple showroom. Her HomePod played music that automatically switched to her AirPods when she left for work. Her Apple Watch paid for coffee while tracking her steps. Her iPhone backed up her photos to a cloud, where they appeared instantly on her iPad for editing and apps. That worked exactly like their Mac counterparts. "It's not that I can't leave," she confided to a friend. "It's that I don't want to. Why would I give up something that works this well?" Google built a different kind of ecosystem, one that didn't require you to buy specific hardware. Google Assistant lived in Android phones, but also in smart speakers from dozens of manufacturers. Google Photos backed up pictures from any device. Gmail, Maps, and YouTube worked everywhere, though they worked best with Android. Marcus's smart home was a testament to Android's philosophy of choice. His Nest thermostat talked to his Philips Hue lights, which coordinated with his Samsung TV and his OnePlus phone. Everything worked together, not because one company controlled it all, but because open standards let him pick the best device for each purpose. "This is what freedom looks like," Marcus said, showing off his setup. "I'm not locked into one company's vision of what my life should be." Chapter 6. The new battlefield. 2024 changed everything. Artificial intelligence wasn't just a feature, it was the future, and both empires knew it. Apple's approach was characteristically measured. They integrated AI deeply but quietly. Siri became genuinely helpful rather than merely functional. Photos organized themselves intelligently. The new iPhones could process complex AI tasks without sending data to the cloud, preserving the privacy that had become Apple's calling card. "Your personal AI should be personal," Tim Cook declared at WWDC 2024. "It should learn from you without learning about you." But Google had been building toward this moment for years. Gemini, their most advanced AI, didn't just live in phones, it understood them. It could read your emails, schedule your meetings, edit your photos, and write your responses. It knew your preferences, your schedule, your relationships, and it used all of that knowledge to make your life easier. The privacy debate reached a fever pitch. Apple users praised their company's commitment to keeping personal data personal. Android users argued that true AI required true understanding, which meant sharing data to get better results. Sarah found herself testing Google's latest Pixel phone, amazed by its AI photography features, but troubled by the